بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Math grade 7. We are in chapter 5 lesson 3. Today we have properties of operations. Properties of operations. In this lesson we want to learn how to identify and use mathematical properties. Simplify algebraic expressions. What's the meaning of commutative property? Commutative property. We have two kinds for addition and for multiplication. A number and B number. A plus B equal B plus A. When you change the place of numbers of the same numbers, the answer will be the same. So A plus B equal B plus A. And for multiplication, A times B equal B times A. A times B equal B times A. This is the meaning of commutative. The second property, associative property. Associative property. If you have three numbers, A and B and C, we can use parentheses to do plus between two numbers. So we can write A plus between parentheses B plus C equal between parentheses A plus B plus C. So this is associative for addition. Associative for addition. For multiplication, A times between parentheses B times C equal between parentheses A times B times C. This is the meaning of associative property for addition and for multiplication. Now we have additive identity property. A plus 0 equal A and 0 plus A equal A. Multiplicative identity property, A times 1 equal A and 1 times A equal A. Multiplicative property of 0, A times 0 equal 0 and 0 times A equal 0. So in our lesson today we have 5 properties: commutative, associative, additive identity property, multiplicative identity property, and multiplicative property of 0. Now see with me this video.
For this video, we're going to be discussing the properties of operations. Now, these properties are probably things that you've seen before, and we're going back over them to review because this year we're going to be using these properties to justify our steps when we simplify operations and when we solve equations. So let's go ahead and get started with the first property we're going to talk about, which is the commutative property. So the commutative property is all about ordering. It says that the change in the order of the numbers does not affect the answer. So for example, 6 plus 1 and 1 plus 6, those both equal 7. Doesn't make a difference that I do 6 plus 1 or 1 plus 6. The order makes no difference at all. By the same idea, I could say like 8 times 2 equals 2 times 8. They both equal 16. The order makes no difference. Commutative property is all about order. Now the thing to remember is this is true for adding, and it's true for multiplying, but it is not true for subtracting or dividing. Order does matter for subtracting and dividing, so only when we add and multiply can we use the commutative property. Now I want you to take a look at this example here. 9 plus 8 plus 7 equals 9 plus 7 plus 8. A lot of people get confused because when they see parentheses, they immediately think associative property. But if we look, this is a change in the order of the numbers. I did 8 plus 7, and here I did 7 plus 8. It is not a change in the grouping. All right? If it was a change in the grouping, then we'd be talking the associative property. But because it's a change in the order, we're talking about the commutative property. All right, speaking of the associative property, that is our next property. And the key word here is associate. Associate means you associate with groups of friends at school. All right, it's how you're grouping. That's all it means. Associate means to group. So, sometimes you change your grouping of friends, but you're all still friends. Maybe you and one person are hanging out one day, and then you and a different person hang out the next day. You're still all friends. You're just changing how you group. Well, same thing works with our operations. It doesn't matter how we group our numbers. We still get the same answer. So in this example, I've got 8 plus 9 plus 4. And here I've got 8 plus 9 plus 4. If I work these out, 9 plus 4, that's 13. And 13 plus 8, that's 21. And on this side, 8 plus 9, that's 17. Plus 4, still 21. Doesn't make a difference that I grouped these two or I grouped these two. All right? But same idea, that works for multiplication. Just like the commutative property, though, this does not work for division or subtraction. It only works for multiplying and dividing. Does not work for adding or for subtraction or division. So associate is about grouping. Commutative is about ordering. All right, let's talk about our third property, which is the identity property. If you think about your own identity, your identity is unique. When you look in the mirror, it's what you see yourself. So when we think about identity in operations, it's something that we can combine with a number that will not change it. So there are two different identities. There's the additive identity, which is 0, and the multiplicative identity, which is 1. Because anytime I add 0 to a number, the number doesn't change. Anytime I multiply 1 by a number, the number doesn't change. So identity is a number that I can combine with another number and not change it. All right? Additive identity is 0, multiplicative identity is 1. Next up, we have the inverse property. And inverse just means opposite. All right? And inverse is a number we combine with another number to get the identity. So there are two different inverses for a number. There's the additive inverse, and once again, there's the multiplicative inverse. The additive inverse is just the opposite of it. So -2 and +2 are inverses because they add to 0. Okay? A positive number, if I said A, its inverse is just the negative version, -A. The same idea, a negative number, say -B, its inverse is just the positive version of that number, and I still get 0. So the additive inverse is just the opposite of the number. The multiplicative inverse is what's called a reciprocal. And it's just if I took the fraction and flipped it. So for example, 1/2 times 2 equals 1. 1 is the identity. So the inverse of a number under multiplication is the number you multiply by that number to get 1. And all we're doing is we're flipping the fraction. If we think here we've got 1/2 times 2 as a fraction is just 2 over 1. All right, well, if we do this multiplying, 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 divided by 2 gives me 1. Same idea here, look at 3/4 and 4/3. 3/4 times 4/3. 3 times 4 is 12. 4 times 3 is also 12. And 12 divided by 12 is 1. So the multiplicative inverse is a number you multiply by another number to get 1. And our final not our final property, I'm sorry, I skipped one. Next property is the multiplicative property of 0. And this only works for multiplying. Only works for multiplying. And it's very simple. It says that any number times 0 equals 0. It's like 5 times 0 equals 0, m times 0 equals 0, 1,000 times 0 equals 0. Any number times 0 equals 0. And finally, our last property is the distributive property. The key word is distribute. And that simply means to give out, all right? So what happens is anytime I see a number outside the parentheses like this, and there's some sort of operation going on inside of the parentheses, I'm going to multiply this number by both numbers that are inside the parentheses. We're distributing. We're giving this 5 out to each. So like 5 times 4 plus 6 is the same thing as saying 5 times 4 plus 5 times 6. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 6 is 30. And 20 plus 30 equals 50. Now, if we combine these in here, we'd see that we've got 5 times 10, which is also 50. So all we're doing is we're handing out that 5. If I look here, a times b plus c, we don't know what any of these numbers are. All we have are variables. But we're still going to multiply them. So I've got ab, a times b, and then a plus ac, a times c. Because I don't know what any of these numbers are, I'm done. I can't really do anything. I've just got ab and ac. Finally, our last example here, if I do 7 times a, that's just 7a, and 7 times b, that's 7b. And I'm adding them together, but because I don't know what a is and I don't know what b is, I can't really do anything, and that's just my final answer. So the distributive property is simply to distribute, to hand out the multiplication of the number outside the parentheses to every number inside the parentheses. So you have 5 try-it problems today, and all you need to do is label each one of these problems as being an example of the commutative, associative, distributive, identity, inverse, or zero property. So all you need to do is tell me what property is being shown in each one of these equations. Let's do that and bring it in with your notes tomorrow.
So what is the name of our lesson today?
Properties of operations.
Great. Properties of operations. Properties of operations. Great. In this example, the question, name the property shown by the statement. Here we have between parentheses 3 times m, then times 2, equal 2 times between parentheses 3 times m. As you see in the left side, we have 3 and m and 2. And in the right side, we have 2 and 3 and m. We have the same numbers and values. But we changed the place of the parentheses. Here the parentheses between 3 and m, and here the parentheses between 3 and m. So here 3 times m times 2, and here 2 times 3 times m. So here just we change the place of the parentheses, but inside parentheses we have the same numbers. We have 3m and we have 3m. So the name of this property will be associative property multiplication. The second question here, state whether the following conjecture is true or false. If false, provide a counterexample. Subtraction of whole numbers is associative or not. We have this example now. Between parentheses, we have 12 minus 5 minus 3. Is it equal? Here we have question mark. Is it equal 12 minus between parentheses 5 minus 3? So here, the answer here, 12 minus 5 will be 7. 7 minus 3 will be 4. And the answer here, 5 minus 3 will be 2. 12 minus 2 will be 10. Is it 4 equal 10? Not equal. Not equal. So we cannot use associative for subtraction or for division. Just we can use associative for addition and multiplication. So this statement false because between parentheses 12 minus 5 minus 3 not equal 12 minus between parentheses 5 minus 3. Who has any question here? The next question, simplify. We have this expression here, 6 plus between parentheses d plus 8. Justify each step. Here, as you see, we have between parentheses, we have d and we have 8. D variable and 8 number. I cannot add variable to the number. So I can use the properties to change the place of the values. So I can take 6 and put it inside the parentheses and take d and put it outside the parentheses. So we can change the place of d and 8. We can take d to the right and 8 to the left in the same parentheses. The name of this property, commutative of addition. Commutative of addition. Then we can change the place of the parentheses. We can put 6 and 8 in the same parentheses. So we can write between parentheses 6 plus 8 plus d. The name of this property will be associative of addition. Associative of addition. Now, 6 plus 8 will be 14 plus d. The name of this step will be simplify. Simplify. Now this is the last answer. We cannot add the number to the variable. So the last answer will be plus d. Who has any question here?
Mister, so the answer will be 14 plus d, like we're not gonna do anything else.
Yes, this is the last answer. We cannot add number to the variable. Okay?
Thank you.
Great. No questions?
No questions.
So our lesson today, properties of operations. The question now, name the property shown by each statement. As you see here in the first exercise, we have 9 times 6 equals 6 times 9. 9 times 6, as you know, will be 54. And 6 times 9 also will be 54. So we have the same answer. We have the same numbers, but the different place. Here 9 times 6, here 6 times 9. What is the name of this property?
So, Mister, it is commutative.
Commutative of multiplication. Commutative of multiplication. The next exercise, here we have m plus 0 equal m. M plus 0 equal m. What is the name of this property?
Identity.
Yes, this is identity of addition. This is identity of addition. Number 3, we have 14 times 1 equal 14. What is the name of this property?
Identity of multiplication.
Great. Identity of multiplication. Number 4, we have 2 plus between parentheses 8 plus 3 equal between parentheses 2 plus 8 plus 3. What is the name of this property?
Commutative.
Associative. Associative of addition.
Mr. We should put of addition of multiplication.
Yes. Now here we have x plus y equal y plus x. What is the name of this property? Commutative. Great. This is commutative of addition. Number 6, we have between parentheses m plus 2 plus n. Then we have m plus between parentheses m plus 2. What is the name of this property?
Associative.
Associative. Associative of addition. Who has any question here?
No question.
Okay. State whether the following conjecture are true or false. If false, provide counterexample. هلا كونتر اكزامبل يعني مثال معارض أو مثال مضاد. بيعطيني هو حقيقة أو مبدأ أو فرضية، وبيطلب مني أتأكد من الصحة. إذا كان صحيح حط قدامه true، إذا كان خطأ حط false. بس بدي أثبت هالكلام بمثال، بدي أثبت هالكلام بمثال. مثلا the sum of an even whole number and an odd whole number is always odd. طيب choose any even number, for example 2, and choose any odd number, for example 3. طيب 2 plus 3 will be 5. 2 even, 3 odd, but the answer will be what? Will be odd. طيب take next example. 4 even plus 1 odd. The answer will be 4 plus 1 will be 5. So odd. So this is true. This is true. And this is the example. إذا بس معناتها نعمل add بين عدد زوجي وعدد فردي بيطلع الجواب.
So if you put 5 plus 4 will be 9.
Repeat please.
5 plus 4 or 5 plus 6.
5 odd. 4
Plus 6.
6 even. 5 plus 6 will be 11. 11 will be odd. Okay? So always, this is general rule. Always when you add odd number and even number, the answer will be odd. The answer will be odd. Okay? Now, division of whole numbers is always commutative. طيب, for example, is it 8 divide by 4? Is it equal 4 divide by 8? Let's check here. 8 divided by 4 will be 2. Is it 2 equal 4 divided by 8 will be 4 over 8. 4 over 8 means 1 over 2. Is it 2 equal 1 over 2? No, not equal. Not equal. So this is false. This statement not true. This is false. And this is the counterexample. المثال اللي أثبت هالكلام. تمام؟ في أي سؤال هون؟ طيب. Simplify each expression, justify each step. Justify يعني وصف كل خطوة. Describe the steps. طيب. Here we have 5 plus b plus 2. Between parentheses b plus 2. We cannot add b and 2 because b variable and 2 number. But we can change the place of numbers, and we can change the place of parentheses. So at the first step we can write 5 plus, take 2 to the left, then take d to the right. The name of this property commutative of addition. Then we can change the place of parentheses. We can write between parentheses 5 plus 2 plus d. The name of this property associative of addition. Then we can simplify now. Do the operation inside the parentheses. 5 plus 2 will be 7 plus d. So this is simplified. Who has any question here? This is the last answer. We cannot add 7 to the D because 7 number and D variable. Okay, number 10, 8 times between parentheses 2Q. We can change the place of parentheses. We can write 8 times 2 times Q. The name of this property, associative of multiplication. Then 8 times 2 will be 16 Q. 16 Q. The name here will be simplified. Who has any question here?
No questions.
Bible recorded the amount of rain that fell for 4 nights in the table below. Use a mental math to find the total amount of rain. Explain your reasoning. هلا أنا في عندي جدول بيعطيني هطول الأمطار في 4 أيام، في ليالي 4 أيام. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Here we have 2.6, here we have 1.5, 1.5, here we have 1.4, here we have 2.5. So I want to solve using mental math. So we can use the parentheses here, choose the two numbers. If you fell, this is easy to solve for you. So we can choose here 1.5 plus 2.5 plus 2.6 plus 1.4. Now 1.5 plus 2.5 will be 4, and 2.6 plus 1.4 also will be 4. 4 plus 4 will be 8. Okay? Who has any question here?
Mister,
Yes.
imagine 2.6 and like 1.5 and we took 2.5 and 1.4. The answer will be the same?
Yes, the answer will be the same. But we choose the easy way, the easy solving. Okay?
Okay, Mister, thank you.
Yes, you can try. You can change the place of numbers between the parentheses. You will find the same answer. Okay, welcome. Who has any question now?
No questions.
Clear for all?
Clear, Mister.
So this is our video today. Thank you for your listening. Have a nice day. See you tomorrow, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.